So we're going to be drafting our basic pattern, like I told us in the previous class that we'll be drafting our basic pattern on paper. Now I've gotten some certain lines there, and we're going to explain the lines. These are our pattern sheet. The brown paper is our pattern sheet. Now on our pattern sheet, we come down 2 inches to get a particular line that assures us that that line is a straight line coming from us. The reason why we are coming down 2 inches or 1.5 or 1 inch from the pattern edge paper is because sometimes the edge paper is not always straight. So the first thing you will do is to come down 2 inches to secure a straight line. So from that line, all measurement is taken. Now, after doing that, the next thing you're going to be doing is to take your full front measurement. The full front measurement for this client, this is the measurement you'll be using for the client. We have our bust of 42, our waist of 32, our full front of 18, across chest of 15, across back of 16, neck point to shoulder of 5, bust point of 11.5, under bust of 15.5, neck to waist of 16, rib cage of 36, and round under bust of bust span of 8. This permits me, the waist here is what, 38. So our full front is what, 8 inches. So 18 inches. So we're measuring our 18 inches from the 2 inches. Don't forget that all measurements stand from this line. So we want to measure our full front, which is 18 inches. We place our tape measure and measure our full front. So from this point to this point is our full front. Then the next thing we'll be doing is to measure our neck to waist. Our neck to waist for this client is what, 16 inches. We'll measure our 16 inches from our full front line. So we'll measure it this way. We measure our 16 inches. So these are our 16 inches. 16 inches from our full front to 16 inches. That is our neck to waist. Don't forget that our full front is the same thing as our waistline. The same thing as our waistline. So we have gotten our full front, that is from our 2 inches down, 18 inches is our full front. From our full front upward is our neck to waist, which is 16 inches. Then to get your bust line, there's a little calculation here. How to get your bust line? You use your neck to waist, our neck to waist, which is 16, divide by 2 minus 1. That's how you get your bust line. Now our neck to waist is 16, when we divide it by 2, we have 8. Minus 1, we have what? 7 inches. Then you measure your 7 inches from your full front. Measure your 7 inches from your full front, and you have your 7. So you rule it from your center back. The left hand side of your pattern sheet is your center back, while the right hand side of the pattern sheet is your center front. So we are starting with our center back pattern. So we're going to straighten our center back pattern first before going to our center front. Now, the reason why we're taking our measurement from our line from center back to center front, because bust is a circumference, waist is a circumference, and hip is a circumference. So after getting our bust line measurement, which is from full front to 7 inches, is our bust line, which is this calculation that we did here. We'll measure it from this point to this point. Why? Because it's a circumference. These ones are stopping halfway because it's stopping at the back, because we are dealing with the back. We are creating our center back. Let me start again. I said to create your pattern, measure from 2 inches downwards to 18, which is our client's full front measurement. This is our 18. Then to get our neck to waist from our client is 16 inches. You place your tape measure from this point upwards to get your neck to waist. Now to get our bust line, I said you're using the formula of neck to waist 16 divided by 2 minus 1, which is 7. You measure it from our full front upwards, you get our 7. That's our bust line. Now I want to get our across back. How do we get our across back? Our across back is the midpoint between our neck to waist and our bust line. So let's check what we have here. We have 9 inches. So that means 4.5 is our across back. 4.5 is our across back. So we want to get our back shoulder line. To get our back shoulder line, we'll come down 1 to 8. 1 to 8. What do I mean by 1 to 8? This is my 1. I said the next class I'll be teaching us how to calculate our tape measure. This is my 1 inch. Now the next one is 1, 1, 1, 8. The next one is to 8. That is, every calculation on this box make up 1. Make up 1. I'll be taking us to that class very soon. So this one whole number, which is 1 inches, plus this smaller lines 1 2, is 1 to 8. So we use 1 to 8 from our neck to waist. Is a that is constant. 1 to 8. Measure 1 to 8 from our neck to waistline down. 1 to 8. That line is what? Constant for all lines. So that place is called what? Back shoulder line. So we already have our neck to waistline, our back shoulder, our cross back, our bust line, our full front, and our hip depth. How do we get our hip depth? We measure 8 inches from our full front down. That's our what? Our hip depth. Some do 8.5, some do 22 centimeter. So for this particular client, I'm using 8 inches as a what? As a hip depth. So in next class, we'll be looking at how to create our center front, inserting all this we have done also for the center front. Thank you and have a wonderful day.